too much for them to ingest. And so we can't get to the goodness, and understanding that there is an absorption issue. And so I love how easily absorbed these are, that they're gentle, easy to take around. You can fly with them without rattling through the airport with 100 bottles of something. Oh my gosh, or whatever. I mean, I've traveled with some crazy things, fitness things and balls for therapy and essential oils and what I mean? And I love that this is just really just packaged even sustainably, because we are hiking in nature and just good to our planet up here, and we can't and we don't all eat enough grass-fed meat.
Well, it is what it is. And so another maybe a little segue, and we'll get back to the health benefits, but algae is the most sustainable crop in the world, and it releases 80% of the oxygen on Earth is from algae. It's actually not the Amazon rainforest, it's from algae. It is the sustainable source of omega-3, as we mentioned. You get, it requires 20% less water than traditional crops. And because algae actually kills bacteria, you can reuse the water when it's grown. You probably don't know this, but virtually every single water treatment plant in America uses algae, because algae kills bacteria. They used to use it topically on the injured as well, the chlorophyll. You get 100 times more protein per acre from algae than you do from animal protein. And here's the killer. And this is why I don't know, I can't remember if I told you, but the U.S. government, the White House, passed in January of this year, 2019, the first Algae Agricultural Act.
What?
Yes, do you believe that? As part of the Farm Bill. Because even they have recognized algae is the most nutrient-dense food and sustainable food, and it's all grown in Asia. So, they've been, for decades, they've been giving farmers handouts for, corn and soy and all this other crappy stuff. So they're going to start helping companies grow algae here in America. Because listen to this. So if you grow corn or soy or wheat even, you get one crop a year, right?
Yep.
And if you monocrop and the poor land is decimated, well, with algae it takes a month to grow, and then you dry it and package it, and then you can do another crop. Nice. So you can get 10 to 12 crops of algae a year from the same amount of land. And because it's all grown in water, you can grow this in deserts. You could grow as long as you have consistent sunlight. So my dream is to have our own algae farms one day.
That was actually going to be one of my questions, is I wonder if the U.S. has some sort of zone that it would be great to grow in it.
Well, as long as you have consistent heat, sunlight and heat. So Florida, Nevada, Southern California, Arizona, but you have to be sure you've got the access to the clean water as well. So, it'll take me a while to figure it out, and it would require a lot of money, but I was so thrilled when, because it's all about raising the awareness. The way I point out to people, algae isn't new, it's just new to you. And you think about, we didn't know about stevia until about 15, 20 years ago, right? Now it's everywhere. Then we didn't know about chia seed, which had been used in South America for, centuries. Right. And then finally some brave soul started introducing it here. What doesn't matter whether it's quinoa, kale, there's a lot of foods and actually Asian treatments that have been around for centuries. So algae's been used, it was used by the Aztecs 200 years ago in Mexico. And so I'm just helping people understand what it is by giving them a pure, clean product that's safe, and packaging it and educating them so that they'll feel comfortable with it. But it's not new, it's just new to you.
So is there anybody that isn't advised to use it, right? You hear different things in the autoimmune community, right? So for example, somebody that has an overactive immune system, right? And I've read some of your literature on this, and it does, reduce inflammation, but it does bolster your immune system. So is there anybody who is, like maybe you need to talk to your, obviously if you're on medication, you should be talking to your doctor if you're on treatment at all. But I get questions about, I ask questions all the time, like when I'm dealing with anybody with like Hashimoto's thyroiditis or, just sure. So
Well, and autoimmune is such a big bucket. I think the medical community uses that term for something when they can't figure out what's really wrong. And a lot of autoimmune is related to leaky gut, and that's so I don't have a clear answer for you, because we've had a lot of people with autoimmune who've done really well with both you can pretty much guarantee, spirulina across the board, great for everybody. Okay. But because chlorella is an immune builder and pulls out the toxins, my suggestion is that people just, start with small samples before they, make an investment in a large bag, and they can buy this from you, or we do sell them on Amazon. We don't sell them. It's like anything. It's like, peanuts are cause allergies in some people. My sister's allergic to bananas, and it's not to say bananas are bad, but they're bad for her. So again, it's a food, not a drug. So you kind of have to sort of experiment a little bit. There are so many wonderful benefits to chlorella and spirulina that I would hate to shut someone out because they are afraid to give it a try. And yet I don't have any hard, fast rules. The only thing I mentioned about the chlorella pulling out toxins is that take it 2 hours away from any medications. For breastfeeding, we've got some articles that show that it kills bacteria around the nipples. So that's really terrific. Some people challenged us and said, well, if it's pulling out toxins, are those toxins going, when you're pregnant, are they going to the baby? No, because the baby is part of the mother. And so if it's pulling out toxins, it's pulling them out from the fetus as well. Right. So that's not an issue. But consistently, spirulina is, a remarkable benefit to everybody. And I really wish everybody would also experiment with the chlorella because it's just so beneficial. So many of our issues are related to those toxins. Yes. For example, glyphosate, which is, a curse on the world. Yes. It replaces important minerals in your brain and your body, like boron, with aluminum. Right. And so you've got to get rid of those toxic metals, right, so that your body can start getting back to homeostasis. We work with a lot of chiropractors, and I've been reading about the cerebral fluid, and it's made up like 500 minerals, and one of the first ones that gets bumped out is boron, and there's boron in the spirulina, and that's the absence. Boron helps your synaptic nerves in your brain connect, and that's when a shortage of boron is often associated with Alzheimer's, and Alzheimer's is associated with aluminum, and so that's what's happened. The glyphosate has added the aluminum, which kicked out the boron, and it's just a slippery slope after that. So
people like yourself that you said, I'm so small, but I'm going to see what I can do with this. It's people like yourself that is opening everybody's eyes. And I think we are going to see it around. I know it's usually in fine print and some sort of green shake or something like that. And we just randomly hear my clients, they'll bring me their bag of supplements that they get at Costco and Rite Aid. Everything else, and they're like, and I'm taking this spirulina for energy, or or something, but I think that we're going to get some good research out of this in the United States too.
I hope so. And we, my goal is to be the big industry leader so that we can do the research, so that we can give it away. My goal is to give it away to disaster areas, schools, nursing homes. I didn't start this. It'd be nice one day if I could actually pay myself, because I don't even pay myself. But that, it's to make a difference in the world. And somebody had to buckle down and go through the science, because there's plenty of science. But the trouble is, scientists like to talk to other scientists. Yes. They don't like to talk to consumers. No. And so it took me, an outsider who has a science brain, to go through the science and find these nuggets. And it's like, are you kidding me? Right. Oh, I can hardly wait to tell, so-and-so about this. So, and that's why we're endorsed by the keto scientists, by the cardiologists of the world, by the because we give them the science. We're not smoke and mirrors. We're just like, hey, would you please just take a look at this? Right. See that it does these things that we're, and so anyway, so I'm very proud of the work we've done, but there's so much more yet to be done. But just the fact that people are recognizing it. Some people don't even know that spirulina is algae.
Right.
So we have a lot of work to do, but the source that you get your algae from is so essential, because all that stuff that you're buying from the discount stores, it's very, weak, low strains of algae, probably mixed with other stuff. It might be toxic because it's grown in an unsafe environment. And we've had people say, they needed less of ours because it was so concentrated.
Nice.
So that's why, start with 2 or 3 tablets. I would urge people to try at least chewing the chlorella, because it's so much more satisfying to feel that you're eating something than taking a pill.
Totally. I mean, that's how our brains work anyway, and our bodies. Right. Anyway. It's not, the brain. I tell all my clients, your brain is actually the first step in digestion.
Exactly.
Because salivating and everything, telling everybody, hey, get ready. She's eating. Get ready.
She's still eating. Oh my God, she's still.
I know. I cannot for being on my podcast today. This was so exciting. You are just a jewel in the health industry, and I just I love your passion, and I love that it's tied to a real life story. And I do a lot of free work as well. Teaching courses at my church and speaking, and because to the schools or whatever, and doing these podcasts.
Right.
Work days, and everything is just, the word needs to go out. And I'm so thankful for technology the way it is, even though it takes the life out of me sometimes. But the technology that we get, this free information that we can exchange instead of having to sit. 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, I would have sat in my rheumatologist's office and go down to a medical library and try and figure out what he was telling me. But so it's just such a blessing. And I thank you for taking your time.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. And if anybody wants to buy anything they can come to our website, energybits.com, energy BITS. And we have a 20% discount code. So when you get into the shopping cart, just put the code The Path, all one word, The Path, and it can be uppercase or lowercase, doesn't matter. And it will work on everything on our website. We actually just put on our boxes just for Christmas. It's easier to wrap. And if you're not ready for a full bag or box, you sell the single servings, and people can also buy them from Amazon, so you can try them out. But just keep in mind that they're food. They're loaded with nutrients. They can replace so many other things. You can swallow them or chew them, and they are the best thing for you and for Mother Earth too at the same time. I mean, it's just.
I love it, and I gave a couple of them to our grandsons. They're 2.5. They're running around here or whatever.
Kids love them.
And one of them said treat. I said
yeah.
Popped it in his mouth, and he looked at me like, that's pretty good. I'm like, okay.
We have one mother, she calls them crackers because she has a 2-year-old, and so tactilely it's like a little green crackers. Another mom puts them inside raspberries, makes happy faces on the plate. There's if you turn it into a game for the kids, they like it because they chew them and their tongues turn green, so they think that's a riot. They think it's very funny. So it's very child friendly. and adult friendly too. Remember, the chlorella pulls out alcohol. Very adult friendly.
Yes. Pointing that out over the holidays when people are like going a little bit too far. Already after Thanksgiving, my clients were like, so I was going to do your one and done policy, and was that one bottle of champagne?
You're right.
Glass of champagne? Oh, well, Catherine, it was so great to meet you, and
Thank you
so much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Super fun, and I can't wait to meet you live in person. So I know I follow you, and I really ask my listeners, my clients follow her. She's just so in your time.
Well, we're on social, Instagram, Facebook. It's Energybits. So check us out.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.